Welcome to Module 3. In this module, we'll build on the work you did previously to articulate your why, your purpose, and connect your purpose to your priorities. As you navigate the hunt, it is essential to know how your job and career aligns with the priorities of your whole life, and also to clearly articulate your priorities of the hunt itself. Having connected to your sense of purpose, in this module, you'll identify and clarify your priorities in life and on the hunt. Understand why these are your priorities. Create 2 triangles, a tool I mentioned in Module 1, that guide you to clearly organize your priorities and your stories. Develop a practiced and concise pitch for your job hunt that can be tweaked with the same core messages, from proactive reach-out emails to informational interviews with the C-suite. So let's get started. First, with life priorities and placing this hunt of yours in a wider context. This next exercise is from the Connected Leadership course as well. So again, you have the choice of starting with a pre-existing draft if you've already done that course, or starting afresh, either way. The problem with priorities is that it does not always feel like you get to decide on them. The world is constantly throwing things at you. Maybe your inbox is flooded with emails, or your calendar looks like a bad game of Tetris. You're double, triple booked, there are no gaps, and nothing seems to be in the right place. Or you might just feel misaligned, not aligned with the big picture, not aligned with your team, not aligned with yourself, your family, your community. Unfortunately, there's a massive imbalance between the demand of our quality attention and our ability to supply quality attention. It's fixed. There are only so many hours in the day, and we all need sleep. You may be able to rapidly switch between tasks, but you can't truly multitask. There is a real limit to how much time you can spend in a day on all the things that demand your attention. And yet, the demand on our attention is growing exponentially. There are more people on the planet than ever before. It took until 1960 to reach 3 billion. By 2022, we were over 7, and the number keeps rising. We're also online more than ever, on more devices, with more data produced every year than in the sum total of human history before then. Socially, we're expected to respond, to be available, always online. A colleague or friend might message you on Monday morning about why you didn't answer on Sunday night. We live in a culture where we're always supposed to be on. And if you're rising or leading in your career, as many of you are or soon will be, this imbalance only gets worse over time. Your experience grows, your influence expands, you get that job that we're talking about, your network broadens, and more people are going to want just a few minutes of your time. So how do you respond to this? There's an old analogy popularized by Stephen Covey decades ago that I love to share in the Connected Leadership framework, and we'll use it here in the hunt. It's the image of fitting rocks, pebbles, and sand into a jar. The rocks, pebbles, and sand represent demands on your time. The jar represents the limit of your time. Imagine if you put the rocks in first, your biggest, most important priorities. Then your pebbles, your medium-sized tasks, can fit around the edges. And the sand, the minor stuff, can filter through all the little gaps. You manage to fit almost everything in. But reverse the order. If you start with the sand, the less important stuff, then the pebbles, then there's no room for all the rocks. You won't have space for the big stuff. This visual is hopefully powerful and hits us as obvious. I want you to know that what the biggest things in your life are, your true priorities, your biggest rocks, and put them in your jar first. Then we can move on to your pebbles, then the sand. And if you can do that well, you may even have a room to pour your favorite drink in at the end of the day. That still fits in that jar at the top. Understanding your life rocks is crucial to your career strategy. Your job will demand a lot of your attention each week. And over the years that make up a career, the responsibilities of your role will become one of the biggest demands of your time, of your one wild and precious life. On average, adults spend 1/3 of their life sleeping. In the US, the average American spends another 1/3 of their adult life working. Globally, this is right about in the middle compared to other countries as surveyed by the World Economic Forum. Workers in Portugal, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Korea will spend on average even more than that. The more you're able to advance your priorities in your work, the more effective you will be in achieving your goals. When you understand your priorities, what is most important to you, you can strategize your hunt to ensure your job aligns with your priorities and you get to spend more of your life on the things that matter. So as with purpose, I invite you to bring across your draft from Connected Leadership if you have it, or start afresh here. So take a look at the Personal Rocks page of your workbook, and let's think about what your most important priorities might be. These rocks, as we consider them, should be crucial to your sense of purpose, your why in life as well as work. Second, your rocks aren't targets in themselves. Rather, they are an inventory of how you want to spend your time. What chunks, arenas, or areas of life are priorities for you? The idea is that if you devote time to your rocks, you can look back and be satisfied with how you spent your time. Your jar was full. Third, bear in mind that your words really matter, and writing is important to this process. So name each of your rocks with care. Try to use powerful nouns or verbs, for instance, but then powerful descriptors, adjectives that bring that rock to life for you. And fourth, the final thought is to limit your rocks to the top 3 to 5 priorities. Over the years, I've found that a list of about 4 rocks is a sweet spot for many. It turns out that a list of 3 to 5 items is actually really good for our brains. 2 items doesn't feel like a list, and 6 is too many to wrap our brains around and memorize. 3 to 5 are enough to be comprehensive without being overwhelming. There's even a research article by Nelson Cowan called The Magical Mystery 4: How is Working Memory Capacity Limited and Why? Now that you know what attributes to bear in mind when creating your rocks and how many, you can start to sketch them out. Here's a personal example. Many of us might have a rock that includes family in some way. I have a rock devoted to family, which I've called Fully Present for My Crazy Wee Family. I wanted an action in there, being fully present. The number 4 links to my consulting practice and time for good, and also to the 4 people in my immediate family. I use the adjective crazy because I've got 3 kids under 12, and it's chaos in my house right now. And then we is a Scottish word for small. My wife, my kids, my wider clan, I don't think any of them are much over 5 foot tall. So they're small, as you might imagine. You may well have a rock to do with family, but you'll probably name yours very differently to mine. So please take a moment and name each of your big rocks with a combination of nouns and verbs that are powerful and adjectives that really resonate with you. Now, you'll notice the rocks worksheet provides space next to each rock for you to elaborate, to consider and list all the things your rock represents. If you cut your rock open, what would be inside? Bear in mind that in elaborating on your rock, you should not include pebbles or smaller priorities. Instead, focus on what comprises that rock. Once you've completed your list of rocks, you can connect with someone else who's also done this exercise and compare what each of you wrote. Your accountability buddy, maybe. You can flesh out your ideas together and consider what's in your jar and why you worded a priority the way you did. Drafting your life's rocks that need to be in the jar. You have hopefully placed your job search within the context of your life's priorities and ensure that it really fits. A question for you: does it make it to the page, and where? Many of us have a rock that is named work or contribution, impact, fulfillment, or similar. Does this new job search form a key part of that priority, that rock? For your hunt to be successful, you will need to devote enough time to it. On the nature of the hunt, does it fit with the rest of life's priorities? As I mentioned in the previous module, if you realize that fitness and self-care, spending time with a young family and your local community is important to you, do you have the time to live through the consequences of a successful promotion or a transition to a more demanding role with higher pay in a bigger organization? Most importantly, does your hunt fit your life's priorities for where you are at right now?